Evening to all friends. I hope you had a good weekend. So we're getting start off to Monday. So I thought I'll have a small video on how we performed last week and what can be expected on Monday. Market relatively looks pretty weak for us. Uh, if you look at Nifty 50, it had broken the. I wouldn't use the word broken, but then it moved down. Uh, Below the trend line support, took some kind of retrace back in fact as expected, and then made a big fall. Currently again we are at a support of 16568. I Hopefully market, if opens above 16620 spot, we can look to market to retrace back to trap the bulls to 16,648, and then I'm expecting this to move down to 16,520 and even up to 16,450 levels. So of course it depends on the levels. If you look at the Nifty open interest, there is a good support or put writing at 16,500. So the first level of support could be somewhere close to 16,500, 520, and if they are not able to hold the market, then we may sustain down. If you look at the next level of support, if you look at, would be 16,300 as per the open interest. But please do understand, open interest or options do not hold the market. It just can be used as a tool to understand where could be the support. I use the word could be. So not necessarily these options can support, because 1 lakh or 20 lakhs or 1 crore option writers cannot hold the market. Next, if you see, there's a strong resistance at 16,700. So keep these levels. Even as per our charts, the 16,700 7 seems to be a good resistance. So keep the levels and don't get biased. Trade on the levels. Bank Nifty has no put writing and looks like a pretty free fall as per the option chain. However, please understand, if the big players want to, they can take the market up. Meanwhile, I would want you to look at the crude, which can also put pressure on Bank Nifty. As I was mentioning earlier, the US crude seems to be holding on to its levels. If you see, it has been pulling up, it pulled back down again, went up. So slightly a tough situation when you look at crude. As we had mentioned, it looks to head towards 120, 122, 124 levels. If this price is broken, then crude may move up 125 and bringing in huge pressure to the market. It retraced some time. In fact, last week I had mentioned in a couple of groups there's huge pressure with crude going up. It retraced, gave us a little bit of relaxation, but then if you see in the 4-hour charts, it has moved up very strongly. We were expecting somewhere here it may retrace, but did not retrace back even to the trend line. It just been moving up very strongly. Uh, so there's a huge pressure on the banks. If we look at Bank Nifty, uh, if somebody is holding puts, I'm sure would be making a good, huge money in puts in Bank Nifty. The first level of support or level would be 16.5, 35, 130. Uh, as per the charts, even if Bank Nifty retraces, it could just retrace possibly up to 35, 400 levels, and then maybe trap all the pulls and then fall down below. The only Nifty 50 stocks which seems to be holdings is Nifty IT stocks, stock like Reliance and wow, Infosys, HCL Tech. So one way, if we at all looking at, we can look at those stocks. Meanwhile, let's look at Nifty. I mean Nifty index. Nifty momentum, Nifty junior. Nifty junior is 1.5% down. Let's even look at Nifty auto also, which was holding on pretty good, has come down last week. FMCG seems to be holding slightly up. So one may once again look at FMCG stocks for short term and intraday. Let's look at Nifty IT. As we had expected, it has Nifty IT retrace and hit our first target. Post this, it has not been able to sustain above 30,300 levels and then move down very strongly. So next level of Nifty IT, if Nifty IT is able to sustain about 29,800, it may retrace back or may remain flattish here. So let's look at Infosys. There's a huge chance that it may retrace back to 1500 as per the charts. So one may look to add at these prices if they're looking forward to IT stocks as per their analysis. Let's even look at HCL Tech. HCL Technologies showed some positive up move. If this stock is able to is able to sustain above 1050-55 levels, one may look to add this. It may move, retrace up. So look at a little higher time frame to understand this. So meanwhile, I am looking at HCL Tech. Please do ask me queries if you have anything. I would definitely be glad to answer these queries. So the next level, if at all it retraces, it may move down towards 960 and then try to move up. So this is the view for HCL Technologies. Some stocks had recommended for long term earlier. Jet Airways I had recommended. So if you are able to add this into your portfolio for a period of 2 years, you can definitely expect some kind of good returns on this sector. Uh, let's see how it has performed. We had mentioned this buy around on second. Uh, there's a good upper circuit happening on this counter. If you get a retracement back to 100 or even 95, do add this, as I am expecting at least 3 to 4 times in the next 2 years. Uh, the other stock I think we can look at is Jindal Stainless. Uh, this stock I am recommending because I see the promoter seems to be adding this, so which is good for us and also to the stock. And if you look at the price also, it's a good it's at a good support of 216. uh, I also see some kind of a trendline support being formed here. The stock which I was mentioning is Jubilant Ingreave and Jubilant Pharma. We're expecting this stock to move pretty strongly above 400 levels for a target of maybe 480 in the next 6 months to a year. One may even look at L&T Finance. L&T Finance Holdings also looks pretty good for us. This may be for as a portfolio stock. Your target could be somewhere 120 in the next 1 year. The chances are that this stock can retrace back to 70 levels and then bounce back. Buy and hold. Never normally when you pick a good equity stock, never look at it and always tend to add as it moves higher. Never try to average if it moves down, because the more you average, the more you add to your losses. Whereas when you average or when you add when it is moving up, you are adding to your profits. And of course your stop loss has to be there. The stop loss possibly for this would be somewhere at 68, 67 levels. In fact, I would probably add up to 68 levels if I get a chance on this stock. Meanwhile, my friends, I would love to hear from you. Last time I had asked few queries. How do I identify whether the market is flat, bearish or bullish? I'm still awaiting for your answers, and this is a very basic. How do we identify if market is bullish, bearish this is a very basic question. I think we should understand one before we invest, trade in the stock market. Because generally we do not buy during a bearish market, and we generally do not buy options during a flat market. We definitely buy, trade short term intraday swing during a bullish market. So with this basic knowledge, one may be able to invest, make profit, and move forward. Else we would end up averaging stocks and just keep looking at the losses. And start panicking with the kind of exposure you have on the stocks. We may even start looking to average or even start selling if we do not, if we need. And what happens is once you start selling, you start blaming the market, that market is not good, market is bad, it takes away our money. We need to understand very simple, market is not ready to give easy money. Many come to me asking if we do PMS, if we train, and if we do give advices. Yes, we do all of this. However, I always ask them, when you go to a doctor, you have to share the entire ailment. And if you're going to a coach, it could be any kind of a coach. It could be your English tutorial coach. It could be your Hindi speaking coach. It could be your sports coach. It could be anything. You need to tell your aim and your potential, without which nobody can help. So please understand, when you ask questions, please do ask queries relevant to, of course, relevant to what you're looking at, and we will also be able to guide you, help you. Recently I had somebody asking me, I have a portfolio of 50 lakh, how do I hedge? Now I need to understand what is the stock exposure. If he has huge stocks in Titan or huge exposure to Titan, it makes sense for us to hedge Titan rather than hedging with the Nifty or Bank Nifty. So understanding of this is very important before we advise anybody. So I request understand that these are the basics, and approach anybody for that matter, so that you also are benefited in the long term. Meanwhile, if we look at global markets, I think global markets closed negative on Friday. So we can expect same to happen. Some of us have definitely invested in HDFC Bank. With the merger of the bank with the limited, or the merger of the group, definitely this stock is going to move mighty fold in the next 1 year or so. Our buy levels, as we have mentioned, remains the same, 1281. If we get a chance again, it moves back, please do add. And there seems to be a slight resistance for the stocks are 1440 levels. So we may see some kind of resistance over here. Hope that this stocks holds above this support, filling which we can see 1340 levels. Sun Pharma also is in my radar. I am expecting this uh, stock to, though the results has been bad, I am expecting 650 660 levels to be uh, holding. Let's see if for another 2 days, and if it is able to sustain above 860 levels, we can definitely add this. Of course, we have already added few at 858, 860, and then it made a low of 832. We wish we had added more here. We did not, but we would definitely look to add this once it is sustained about 880 levels. And so, in fact, I think Sun Pharma is increasing their staff by 10% in India, so that they want to make. So their plans also looks good. So fundamentally, also it looks good. If you have any suggestions for us to make this channel more useful for you, please do share. Kotak still seems to have good support, 850, 820 levels. So let's see how long it holds this level. And if this price is not able to sustain above 900, we may expect this price to come down to 1780 levels. So just keep an eye on this stock. If you have a holding in equity, you can definitely look to short this. If the price doesn't sustain about 1900, the target could be 1780 levels. I would also like to look at many people's favorite stock, Tata Motors, maybe even look at Naukri. Definitely the stock is looking good for long-term perspective. There's no doubt about fundamentals on Tata Group. Tata Elxsi also, if somebody is holding, is good. Yeah. Meanwhile, Adani Port is some another stock which I think you could look to add in the coming weeks. This stock seems to be trending up. So add Adani, the big support. There seems to be a good support at 650 levels. If it is able to sustain about 900, then we could definitely see 1000 or more plus coming in this sector. So thank you all for your likes, for subscribing us. We would also be starting a training program per se, where we would share some basics of stock market. We would give out some screeners. We would also probably share some indicators, simple indicators for people who are working. And if you're looking to be a professional or be proficient in this stock market, we also have a mentorship program for 6 months where we will individually mentor you with how to identify volumes, volume breakouts, chart patterns, trend lines, supports, resistance. We also would probably touch in harmonic patterns a little bit and Eloit ways as well. So please do contact us. We would be glad. And I'm sure with knowledge you would earn more than what you're doing right now. So good luck for Monday. Thank you for being with us and thanks for watching.